Well, hello, and here is the fairly short video. Actually, it's not that long, of the trip that Laurie and I are planning to the Antarctic. So you can see Laurie zooming in here on Microsoft Virtual Earth into San Francisco, and the plan is he's going to drop in for a few days so he can acclimatise to the time differences from Australia and get organised, and then we're going to leave the beautiful San Francisco Bay Area and take off on a trip to the Antarctic via Argentina and Florida and then Argentina. It's a pretty exciting trip. It's travelling for 3 weeks on a semi-ice-breaking ship down to the Antarctic using zodiacs, which are rubber boats basically, to get off and get on shore. So first stop is we'll leave San Francisco and head to Orlando, which of course is where all great Antarctic explorers go first before they go to the Antarctic exploring, is to the Epcot Center and of course to Disney World. And we figured, hey, we have to leave for South America via Miami, so we're so close to Orlando, might as well spend a couple of days there and take in the sights as we're on our way. And you can see here on the virtual Earth a pretty good shot of what it looks like nowadays. It's a rather large business now, and as I understand, they're trying to change Disneyland in California to become something like this. I've been there before, but Laurie hasn't. So once we've been there, we're going to whiz off and make a short trip down to Miami, spend the night at Miami South Beach, waiting there for the next day to pick up the flight to Buenos Aires. And this is a nice shot here of the Miami South Beach area. It should be nice weather. Hopefully, it'll be November, but hopefully it won't be too cold, being Florida. And I've been to Miami before, but never really stopped, so just to pass through onto Key West and once onto a cruise. So it should be fun checking out the city that night, have dinner and check out the beaches a bit. And next morning we'll get up and head to the airport, and we'll take a very long flight actually. It departs at 8 o'clock, but basically gets there the next day in the afternoon. Down, 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 as virtual shows you there, South America and to Buenos Aires. In Buenos Aires we'll stop on the first pass through only for one night, so we won't really get much of a chance to tour around or anything. I understand it's a wonderful city and that there's a very, very European feel to it, and lots of good restaurants and interesting nightlife from what people have been telling me. And from the virtual Earth here, there's not a lot of detail, but you can see it's a sprawling big city, that's for sure. On the way back, Laurie and I will spend about 4 days actually in Buenos Aires, so we get to do some touring on the way back from the Antarctic and get to see the city more then. So once that night passes, we'll be jumping on a plane and joining the tour of course in Miami, and heading on a plane down further south to the very, very tip of South America, Chiago, and a place actually known as Ushasha, I think is how you pronounce it, but I'm not precisely sure. Not much there, as you can see. Terra del Fuego, I think, is the area the border of Argentina and Chile meet at this point. You can see there's an airstrip there, so, and a dock, which I imagine is where we're going to pick up the boat to the Antarctic. It looks really interesting terrain, very hilly, and all sorts of glacial looking sounds have been carved out by the look of it. And I would imagine it's going to be quite cold down there. It'll be getting on to full-on midwinter at the time that it'll be full-on midsummer actually, because it's on the other side of the world, but the other hemisphere. But anyway, we'll tour on a boat for about 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks, down to the Antarctic Peninsula there, through Drake's Passage, which we just flew over, and we'll be stopping at all sorts of various spots. It's a little vague actually, because the tour doesn't confirm any particular stops, because of everything is going to be weather dependent and based on the ice pack and so on and so forth. But looks really quite interesting. All of this area looks like it would be magnificent. Lots of sea life and lots of bird life. And then we'll head back to San Francisco. So that's the tour.